Sometimes life just sucks, and sometimes it freaking rocks. We will discuss all the things from family and real estate to travel and just life in general. So take a seat, or don't, you do you, and welcome to the Lambadass Podcast. Clearly, I was feeling a little brave this morning. If you follow me on social media at all, you know that I have a terrible habit of spilling all over myself. I don't know what it is. I really just can't have nice things. And I do have nice things, but I probably shouldn't. So feeling really brave here in my white blazer. If you're just listening to this, I'm wearing a white blazer with a black top. I feel like the black top maybe like balances it. Anyways, I do not want to talk about my apparel today. Today, I actually want to talk about what people initially think when they get into the real estate business. So if you don't know by now, I am in the real estate business. I sell real estate. I have done both residential and commercial. My heart and soul is in the residential. I am very loving. I love to talk, obviously. I love to be involved. I love families. I love people. I mean, if you don't have a family, I still love you too. I love people. I love being around people. It gives me life. And I know one of my very best friends is not a people person at all. I literally got her a shirt that says I'm done peopling. So when I say I love people, I love people. So working in the commercial side, it's not as fun. It's not as foo-foo. It's very direct. It's very just business. And I do love the business aspect, but I really miss what comes with selling real estate to the average or not so average person when they're buying it for like their personal portfolios, if you will. But I really think that a lot of newer real estate agents have this thing in their head that they're going to start this business. Everybody they know is going to want to work with them, and they're just going to make a shit ton of money. And that's just not how it is. So I got my real estate license. I misspoke. If you do follow me on social media, I said 2007. No, I actually got my real estate license in 2006. I base everything off of when I had my kids. So I had Connor in 2007. I got my real estate license in 2006. So I was pregnant with him when I got my license. Now what had happened was I was newly pregnant with him. And I was at home, and I was a stay-at-home mom before I sold real estate, which if you are a stay-at-home mom, you are the true salt of the earth, amazing human beings out there, because you guys are just incredible. I really do think that it takes a special person to be a stay-at-home mom. I am 100% that person, but I'm a much better mom when I'm working. So kudos to you mamas who stay home and you working mamas. Anyways, David comes home from work. I refer to him as Sweetie Pie. So if you ever hear me say Sweetie Pie, I'm talking about my husband, David. So he comes home, and I had Jacob, and I want to say I was carrying Jared. Jared was probably, at this point, he was probably like one and a half. And the house was a flippin' disaster. I mean, there was shit everywhere. The kids' toys. I mean, it was dramatic, to say the least. And he walks in, and he is like, "What did you do all day?" And I'm looking at him, and I probably look like a hot mess, you guys. Like, my hair was all crazy. These kids were all everywhere. And I was like, I don't think you meant to ask me that. I think you meant to ask me, how was my day? And he just looked at me, and he was like, he didn't say this, but you know in his mind he was thinking it. He was like, "No, sis, like, what did you do all day? Because this house is a disaster." And I looked right at him, and I just started crying. And I was like, I kept your kids alive. I tried doing what I could do. I was a part of Moms Club. There's a great organization out there for you stay-at-home moms. It's called momsclub.org. They are a nonprofit organization it stands for Moms Offering Moms Support, and it is just fabulous. So we did a lot of things with that. We would raise money, and we would have park days and all sorts of stuff. So I'm like, well, we went to Moms Club, and we did this, and we did that. And he was like, "But nothing around here is done." And I'm going to be straight with you for a minute. Was I pissed in the moment? Absolutely. Was it something that I needed to hear? Also, absolutely. My job was a homemaker. My job was to make sure that the house was tidy and orderly, and that the kids were in fact taken care of. Like, for me to expect special praise over that was almost silly, because that's my role, right? That's the role in that season. That was my role. So I was just crying and I'm like, I'm tired of talking to kids all day. And when I talk to some moms hate their husbands, they hate their kids. I love both of mine. Like, this is really difficult. And he looks right at me and he goes, you should get your real estate license. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, you should go and talk to a friend of ours. His mom is a lender. And so he was like, you should go to her office and talk to her and see like what you need to do to become a real estate agent. He's like, you could make your own hours. You could make a ton of money. And I'm like, making my own hours and making a ton of money. This sounds like a win-win. So when I say I think a lot of agents feel that way and they think that way, please know that you are in great company, because I felt the exact same way. What I've come to realize though is, well, I've come to realize quite a few things, but one, most of the time, the people that you know, they aren't going to be as inclined to work with you, and they will give you the story, hey, I want to support you, but my husband but my wife knows somebody in real estate, or I would love to support you, but there's always just this big but, right? They always know somebody else or whatnot. The other reason is because they're watching you. They want to see how well you do with other people, right? They don't want to be the one that you screw up with. They don't want to be the test dummy. Nobody wants to be the test dummy, especially when it comes to real estate. You know, real estate is one of if not the largest investment a human being will make in their entire life. So to sit here and be like, I got my license yesterday, let me help you buy an $800,000 house, that's not as appealing as it might sound to a new agent if you are a seasoned buyer or seller. Now, you will always get those people who are diehard for you, right? Like, you're ride or die no matter what. But 9 times out of 10, you have to prove yourself. And wouldn't you want that? I mean, in return, wouldn't you want that? I know everybody jumps in thinking, but I mean, honestly, take a stone and freaking throw it in a crowd. The chances of you hitting somebody that has a real estate license, there is a difference between somebody who has a real estate license and somebody who is actually a working real estate agent. But the chances of you hitting somebody with a real estate license is through the roof. I mean, you're looking at like 9 out of 10. So to me, assuming and thinking that people are going to automatically want to work with you is probably the first thing that I say, like, chop off the block. And I totally made my notes here because I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So the other thing that I think too is a lot of people get into this business because they see seasoned agents and what they have and what they do. And it's funny because I remember in 2015, it was the best financial year of my life. I made insane money that year, like insane. Maybe it wasn't 2015. Maybe it was like 2017, because we bought our house in 2016. So it must have been like 2017 or anyways, it was somewhere right around there. And I was busy. Business was great. I mean, all my bills were being paid, which was very different. And I can go into this on another podcast, but very different from how life was even just a couple years prior. And here I am, miserable. You guys, I was so miserable. And I know, like, if you're in the pits of despair right now and you're trying to crawl out, you're like, oh, poor you, first world problems. I get it. Okay, I get it. But let me explain something to you. When you are making a shit ton of money and you have not 1 minute to enjoy it, what is the point? What is the point of having all that, right? We all sit here, we want to make good money so that we have freedom, right? The freedom to do things. It was funny, I was talking to Sweetie Pie and I was like, you know, when we were going through our hardships financially, I wasn't happier. I wasn't thinner. I wasn't prettier. I wasn't a better mom. I wasn't any of those things. And now, you know, that things are different. We can afford to pay our bills. We don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul. Like, I feel myself saying, okay, well, it just makes things easier, right? If I want to go out to dinner, it's easier for me to go out to dinner because I have the money to go out there. Whereas before it'd be like, forget it. Take the credit card and let's just go. I can remember times, you guys, when I would go to fill up my vehicle at Sam's Club. So I don't know if you know this or not, but if you go to Sam's Club and you go to fill up with gas, at least it used to be like this. I don't know if it's like this anymore, but you used to be able to put your credit card in, and so long as you had $1 of available credit, they would let you fill up your gas tank. So naturally, because I have 4 children, I drove a big ass gas hog. And so what I would do is I would go and I would scan it. It would go through and I would fill up my gas tank. So here I am putting like $100 to $120 in my gas tank. And then what would happen is we'd get the bill. And then I would have to pay the bill, but we had the overage fee because I went over. It was just a nasty cycle of constantly having to do things, right? I don't have to do that anymore. I can go and just fill up my gas tank and go on with my day. So I will tell you that when you sit here as a newer agent or as somebody who's looking to get into the real estate business and you see, $1 million listing and you watch these people and you see their homes and you see the things that they have, you see the beautiful cars that they drive and stuff like that. You guys, that all came at a price. It came at a price. And whether you choose to believe it or you don't, I am telling you right now that when you sit here and you're doing really great and you don't have the time to enjoy your family and you don't have the time to enjoy, I remember we were putting in our pool in our backyard. Again, I know, woe is me. We were putting in the pool. The kids had been swimming in it. And I want to say I hadn't been in the pool not even one time for like the first year. That is crazy. Why was I working so damn hard to provide a lifestyle that I wasn't even enjoying? So just know that it does come at a balance. I am at a point in my life, but I've been doing this, 16, 17 years. So I am at a point now where sure, I can balance things a hell of a lot better than I could before, because before it was like anything that came my way, I was taking. I remember going to a Tom Ferry seminar. If you are not listening to Tom Ferry and you are interested in real estate, you absolutely should be listening to Tom Ferry. But I remember this guy got on stage. I think it was actually Kyle Whistle. He's a real estate agent in San Diego. And he was like, I don't even do leases. And I was like, what? You just like don't take business? I remember thinking that. And now it's like, okay, well, I get it. I get why people have leasing agents on their team. There's an ass for every seat and everybody needs to just sit in their own seat. I was not a leasing agent. I shouldn't have been doing leases anyways. And it's a lot of work and a lot of time and energy and effort put into things for very little pay, in case you don't know that. But needless to say, I just feel that when people sit here and look at look at chapters that people are in and they're on chapter 27 and you're barely stepping foot into chapter 1, don't be in such a hurry to get to chapter 27, because 1 through 26, you're going to have some amazing adventures. You're going to need to rely on other people and their experiences as well. The third and last thing that I think is really important to really discuss when you're a newer agent, don't be so focused on the commissions. Right off the bat, we're really, you're going to give me an 80% split? That's great. Guys, 80% of nothing is still nothing. If you have a mentor, somebody who's willing to take you in and they want a portion of the commission that you get, give it to them. I mean, it's not going to be forever, but at least you have somebody who you can run things by 24/7 if you're not joining a team. And I mean, if I were to restart this whole thing over, I probably would have joined a team to begin with. But when I started my career, teams weren't a big thing. Now they are, because people are learning that to leverage time, you have to leverage your money, and to leverage your money, you have to leverage time. Time is money. Money's time. So you're going to spend it one way or the other, whether it's on, getting the correct admin and stuff like that in places where they need to be, or you're going to be taking away from your family to do it yourself. And wherever you are in your journey, embrace it. Like, just be in that moment, because you won't be there forever. And also know that, what got you here isn't going to get you there. So take what you can from that mentor, take that smaller commission split so that you can learn what you can from that agent who's been in the business for 17 years. You're not going to learn everything overnight. You're going to need some hand holding in the beginning. So be open to that. So I hope I've been some help to you guys, or of some help to you guys. I do get a lot of people who tell me they are interested in real estate. I do get a lot of people asking me how I do things. I'm really, really, really focused on ensuring people that who join my team have a really good work-life family balance. I want you to make a shit ton of money, but I also want it to be worth it. The time that you're taking away from your kids, from your family, from your friends, from whatever it is that you love most, I want to make sure that it's worth it. So if I can ever be of any help, you can always DM me. You can always reach out to me. Of course, I'm here for you, but please do not think that you're going to get into real estate and every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to want to come list and buy with you, because that's just not the reality.